Hello, this is Liz Blake speaking again, and this is day 8 of 30 Days Live, where I'm not talking about what I do or what my business does, but some of the things we're standing for and sometimes standing against. And tonight, just for a few minutes, these are just little short chats. For a few minutes, I'm going to talk about where does AI sit with all of this? So does AI replace learning marketing and sales, how to market and how to sell? Does AI replace that? When you've looked at autopilot, copilot, and good prompts in ChatGPT or other LLMs, when you've looked at that, they're pretty impressive. They can be pretty impressive to watch. And as soon as autopilot and copilot came in, just the internet started blowing up. I certainly saw it on Twitter and demonstrations and that. It was quite amazing of what was happening, what people were doing. The digital marketing world just bang, just really, really latched onto it. But so there's all that there, but what is the essence of marketing? And I'm not going to talk about selling because that's an outcome of marketing. But so what is the essence of marketing? Do you actually need, if you've got all those great tools on, with AI, if you've got all those great tools and they are clever, and if you know how to use them, they're very, very, they can be very effective, but in certain areas, okay? But what is the essence of marketing? What is the essence of connecting with your ideal client? There's reach. Well, who reaches who? That's an interesting thought, because it depends what you learn and the quality of what you learn as to how that works. There's reach and attracting them. There is the drawing closer, and of course it comes to you. And most of us who've done any kind of marketing and sales know the track that goes along, that simply just goes from a person not knowing you exist to buying from you, and buying from you with confidence, and becoming a great customer. Always you are at the center. Now, when I say you, it's you and your product. There's something about it. You, your company, your product. There's something about that. There's a uniqueness there. And so I'm going to represent that by you. And it is quite literally you as well. Now, here's a thought. Here's a to me, this is just very, very obvious, that the more and the faster AI rises. When I say AI, I mean the tools we use. The more that ascends and escalates, and the speed, the velocity escalates. It's the noise in the out there is just actually phenomenal. And so the more that happens, and the more people catch on to how to use autopilot, copilot, the good, great prompts, and that sort of thing. The more that happens, the noise in the market is just, it's like a mushroom cloud, just enormous. Now, what that does, and I don't think a lot of people have really thought beyond this, but the speed of that will probably be even followed by perhaps even a faster speed, a greater speed, with people switching off, because the noise is increasing, and so people, their tolerance level, unless something touches them, they switch off. And when I say they, that I do too. So do we all. So let's look at, why. It's very important to look at why people respond to you, and to what you have recorded, and to what you've written. Your message. Why? What is it that makes people respond to you? The remaining fact is that you must learn, apart from having all the great tools and having access to great tools, you must learn in business how to, and I'm speaking to entrepreneurs and corporate people who are stepping into entrepreneurship, either they have, or you're about to. But it's essential that you learn how to differentiate and stand out. Like, it's really essential. and there is a way to do that. And this is not trickery and manipulation. So that's one of the things we stand against, and I've got no interest in trickery. In fact, a deep loathing for trickery and manipulation, because superb communication skills can be used for good and bad, okay, for helping people and for bringing the best out of people, and also for manipulating and controlling people. And so I'm talking about not trickery or manipulation, but how to differentiate and how to stand out. So just pulling this together, the greater the level and the intensity, the velocity and volume of automation, AI, whatever automated processes, the higher the demand, or the sharper the contrast is going to be between that and the personal touch and authenticity, and the hands-on, the personal touch. The more slick the presentations become. And if you've ever seen voices on audio, voices kind of smoothed out a little bit. I've got family and friends, or family, who do audio production, and you can do lots of things to audio. You can do lots of things to video to make them look nicer, etc. And of course, we do lots of things to our faces to look smoother. But there's the more slick the processes and what we use, it's actually, there's also that same contrast between a sharp contrast between that, the slickness, and the appetite for and the enjoyment for the imperfect but real. That's a really, really interesting thing. So I'm just going to finish this off with that. Yes, tools are fantastic. We all use tools, and we use AI as tools. I think they're great for brainstorming. The tools are great for brainstorming, but they're secondary. They're secondary to how your message comes across. What is your message? Who are you? Why should your ideal client be attracted to you? And that takes a little bit of work, but it's the best, most exciting, the most stimulating work you can do. So that was a little bit long tonight, 7 minutes. I normally won't go that long, but this was quite a topic. And I'm also doing this imperfect, because I'm doing this live again, but imperfectly, but authentically. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time for number 9.